Welcome, everybody, to the 2024 GymACT Virtual Season Opener. This is one of the first of many virtual gymnastics competitions we're going to be having here on YouTube, broadcasting live. This week, we have a very exciting competition for you featuring Georgia United versus Florida Storm. GymACT is a league designed to help increase the participation in men's gymnastics. And so today, we're going to be going through all 6 events between these two teams. Leading us off on the floor exercise is Jeremiah Holmes from Georgia. Nice solid double back mount, a few steps there. Now, for those of you at home that aren't familiar with the gymnastics rules, GymACT uses a modified set of gymnastics rules. The gymnasts have to perform 8 skills, which involve counting the 7 highest skills plus their dismount. And within those skills, they have to do 4 element groups. If the gymnast has less than 8 skills, they are subjected to a short routine deduction. And for this league, if they have less than 6 skills, they lose 3 points. So Jeremiah Holmes finishing up on floor with a score of 10.05. Next up, we have Noah Poquigo from Florida. Nice clean double back. Probably lost 3/10 on that step. Clean front full. So Noah here is going to be attempting to go through all 4 of his element groups. So that fulfilled his double Russian, fulfilled a element group 1. So the non-acrobatic group is going to follow it up with a press handstand. Nice clean 1.5 for his dismount.
All right, let's go, Aaron.
All right, we have Aaron Weinberg up on floor for Georgia. Noah scored a 12.0.
There we go.
All right, nice clean 1.5 mount. You'll see a lot of the athletes try to save their higher valued skills for their last pass because they need at least a C valued dismount to receive full credit. So you'll see a lot of these athletes do a 1.5 for a front punch, front stretch full to get their C value dismount.
Okay.
Round off layout for a side pass.
Let's go, finish it up.
And there's Noah finishing up with his C value dismount. He gets the full 0.5 point credit for that element group. Next up, we have Cooper Brown. Double back dismount. Aaron Weinberg scored an 8.35 on floor. No, 1.5 punch front full. That was a relatively difficult pass, especially for this league. Now, this is early in the season. You'll see some of these athletes not wearing uniforms yet. But the gymnastics is going to get cleaner and more advanced as we progress through the season. Cooper here finishing up with a 2.5, so he stuck that. That was a D value dismount. In the GymACT program, they actually have a stick bonus. So he earned 3/10 for that dismount in bonus. All right, leading our last up on floor for Georgia, we have Matthew Brown. Back pull as his side pass. Now you'll see the team roster that's competing on each of the events on the right side of the screen and the current team score at the bottom. So Matthew Brown finishing up his floor exercise routine here. Finishes with a double full to get that C. And that is it. That's our conclusion for floor exercise here. Leading the way, we have Georgia with a 29.7 and Florida with a 24.4. We're going to move right into pommel horse. We have Camden Winger leading us off from Florida. Pommel horse is usually considered one of the more challenging events. So, scissor half with a travel. Did a check here. Tung Fei, oh, he's struggling a little bit to stay on. See if he can finish up. That dismount had quite a bit of strength to it, but he survived.
Let's go, Aaron.
Camden Winger with a 10.4 on the pommel horse. We have Aaron Weinberg starting off Georgia.
Let's go, Aaron. Come on, Aaron.
Nice clean circles. That's an Urzica for a C. He has one Russian dismount. The flank off was a little low.
Come on, Cooper.
Aaron Weinberg, 11.15. Now we have Cooper Brown on the pommel horse. All right, a little struggle on that dismount. Those of you paying attention, Cooper Brown actually only had 5 skills on his pommel horse routine. So he actually received a 3/10 neutral deduction, bringing his score to a 7.5, in case you're wondering why it was a little bit lower than the other scores. Now we have Nathan Ruel from Georgia. Nice clean check here.
Let's go work here. Let's go. Come on.
2/3 travel down. He's going to try to finish up his circle handstand dismount. A little bit too much strength there, but he stayed on. That's the most important part. We have Nathan with an 11.05. Now we're on to Joshua George from Florida. Nice double scissor there. Now if you have a gymnastics eye, you'll see that Joshua has actually a more advanced stretch in his circle. And so he's doing many more advanced flop sequences here. Oh, and then, like I said, those flop sequences are pretty advanced, upwards of a value of an E for their element group, for their skill score. So he fell off on that one, couldn't stay on. He's probably going to get back on and try to repeat it.
Come on, Josh. Finish it up. Let's go now.
Here's a flop sequence here. He went circle, circle, Russian 270 for a D. Tung Fei. Oh, he tried a Russian travel down, didn't quite make it, wasn't able to stay on. Now this team competition, we have 5 athletes, up to 5 athletes can go on each event for each team, and a maximum of 4 scores count. As this is early in the season, we don't have 4 counting scores for every single event. But we basically just take the 4 highest scores out of the 5 athletes and add them up, and that would be our team score. In this case, we're just taking as many scores as we have if it's less than 4 athletes. So now we have Chad Querman finishing up pommel horse for Georgia.
Yes, sir.
Chad scoring an 11.85. He had a start value of 13.3. And the judges deducted about 1.5 points for that routine. Now, Noah's finishing us up on pommel horse for Florida. Nice Magyar. Savato is a little skewed and piked, but he stayed on. Nice triple Russian dismount. All right, and that finishes us up on the pommel horse. We can see here that Florida beat Georgia on pommel horse with a 41.2. The team score, we have, it's pretty close so far. We have Florida with 65.6 and Georgia with a 63.7. We're going to move right into the still rings. One of the reasons for this format is to allow you to watch gymnastics as efficiently as possible. If you're trying to get familiar with the sport, to later on watch the Olympic Games coming this year, this is a great way to do that, to learn the rules with these routines. Jamie Gruel starting us up on the still rings for Georgia. A little struggle there on that Yamawaki. That was supposed to be a continuous double front action without showing any strength. And the athlete's supposed to keep his arms off the straps here, so there's going to be a little bit of deduction there. He's using the straps. They also have a swing to handstand requirement that Jamie's working on getting there. Finishing up with a double back, big step. Good start for the season, though. Still early. Jamie scoring a 9.15. Now, for Florida, we have Bassam Smadi taking us off on Florida for starting us up on the rings. Bassam is very strong. That's a back uprise Maltese for an E. Lowered to a cross. That's a very advanced opening swing to strength skill sequence for any ability. Back uprise L. Have to hold those positions for 2 full seconds. Again, he's trying to stay off those straps there. It's a large deduction there. If you lean on the straps. All right, so we had an A dismount value there. So he actually didn't receive any element group credit for his dismount. Now we have Aaron Weinberg's on the rings. A nice front uprise L. That gets his swing to strength. Now that was a bit short before he rolled out of there. So we'll probably get a deduction for that. Back 1.5 dismount. That's an interesting dismount. It's actually not in the code of points. Not quite sure how the judges handled that one, but it was nice and clean. Aaron Weinberg scoring 11.2 on the still rings. Now, for Florida, we have Noah Poquico. Nice back uprise straddle planche. That skill is often very challenging for these younger athletes, and Noah did that skill quite well. There's his swing to handstand requirement, back uprise handstand. A nice clean double back dismount, nice B dismount there. He gets 3/10 out of the possible 5/10 in this GymACT league for that dismount. All right, so now we have Noah Arnold. Noah Poquico, 11.4 for Florida. We have a front uprise, attempted L seat. Let's try to get that element group. There's a bit of a swing there, so he likely didn't receive it. Kind of a swing with that press. Supposed to show mostly or entirely strength driven to drive that press up to a handstand. Now C dismount. Double back with a full twist. All right, Noah earning an 11.6 for his ring score. Now finishing up on the still rings for Florida is Cooper Brown. Kip to L seat. It's his swing to strength there for that skill. Nice clean Yamawaki. Back uprise L seat. Could have probably held that a little bit longer, and he swung a bit on that press. Need to show a little more strength. There's his swing to handstand requirement. And he has his C dismount. So Cooper had a start value of 13.7 for that routine. with a final score of 12.3. The average deduction for that was 1.4 in deductions. Finishing us up for Georgia on the still rings, we have Jeremiah Holmes. Tip to L seat, so there's his swing to strength element group requirement. There's a backup rise to L. Technically, you're supposed to do that backup rise with straight arms, so he received probably a 3/10 deduction. He's trying to get that swing to handstand requirement through that skill. And the double back dismount. All right, that finishes us up on the still rings. Georgia took the lead on that event with a 41.4 over Florida's 34.0. So far this competition, after 3 events, we have Florida with a 99.6 in second and Georgia with a 105.15 leading the way. Moving on now, we have Cooper Brown starting us up on vault. Vault's a very fast event, so this will go really quick. It's a stretch Kazumatsu, or I believe he was going for a stretch Kazumatsu. That is a start value of 14.0. That's his maximum score. The judges took about a point off, giving him a 13.05. That was Chad Quirman. He got a stretch Suk for that. Judge a little generous there. I thought it was a bit piked, but we have a 13.2 star value. That was also evaluated with a 13.2 start, so he got a stretch position for that Suk. That was a little more stretch than the others. Noah Arnold scoring a 12.25. Finishing up Georgia on the vault is Aaron Weinberg. Oh, Suk full for a 14.0 start value. So Georgia took the lead on vault. They had one more extra athlete than Florida, so 37.0. And they are also taking quite a bit bigger lead, 142.15 over Florida's 124.85. Moving into the 5th event here, we have Aaron Weinberg starting Georgia off on the parallel bars. You had a peach basket there. His arms were bent. Technically, that should be straight, so the judges are going to take 3/10 off for that arm bend. Press handstand. Nice clean front uprise. Finishing up with a decent double back. He was a little short on that dismount. Other than that, it was a nice routine. He earned a 12.0. Now we have Camden Winger from Florida. He is the only athlete competing for the parallel bars. Again, this is still early in the season here. We're trying to give these guys as much exposure as possible. And we have a Moy there, a Moy to support. That's a value of a C. Attempted in a Diamondov there. And then a front full dismount. All right, so Camden scoring in 11.55 on the parallel bars. Now we have Chad Quirman from Georgia. It was a B-Moy because his legs were bent, and followed that up with a peach basket. Now, technically, again, those arms are supposed to be straight, so he's going to get deducted for that. Diamondov, pretty good, except for the split legs there. Run uprise. A very nice double back dismount. You got the stick bonus there because he stuck that C, so he gets 2/10 in stick bonus. Finishing us up on the parallel bars for Georgia, we have Jeremiah Holmes.
Mom.
Chad Quirman had a start value of 13.5. The judges took approximately 2 points off for that. All right, there we are. Finishing up on parallel bars here. Jeremiah Holmes scoring a 10.9. All right, that completes the 5th event. Georgia's got quite a bit of a lead over Florida, 176.90 to Florida's 136.40. We're going to finish up here on high bar. Again, especially early in the season, high bar is one of those events and it takes a little bit longer to get routine ready, simply because of sometimes the risk of the skills and trying to keep things safe. So we don't have a full roster on high bar for this competition. Nice stretched double full twisting double layout there for his dismount. Chad scoring an 11.85.
Let's go, Jay.
All right, so anchoring Georgia on the high bar, we have Jeremiah Holmes finishing up this competition. He's going after a release there. Half pirouette, giant, back giant. Finishing up with a double back. All right, so Jeremiah Holmes scores a 10.50. That completes our competition. Georgia taking first place with a 199.25, followed by Florida's 136.40. I hope you enjoyed this competition. You can check out more information about GymACT at gymact.org. We have teams all throughout the country. They'll be broadcast throughout this entire 2024 season, so please like and subscribe, and thank you very much for